Welcome, everyone, to the one and only North Wilkesboro Speedway, the 6th race of the AT&T Cup Series season is here from North Wilkesboro for the first time since 1996, almost 30 years ago. Was the last time we had a race here in North Wilkesboro. A lot has changed. The track has died and come back to life. And now, 40 of the finest all get to race on this hollow short oval for the first time in their careers. Join us for the adventure. 400 laps. It's the Goodyear 400 here on CBS. The points, they are ever so important. And this is how the top 20 look after the first 5 of 36 races. Ciara Christensen and Violet Hale. Your top 2, Ciara Rigney, Carmen, Sienna, Thomas Rogers. Your top 5 at the moment. Victor Oldham, Megan Davenport, Carissa Everett, Cole Matthews, Celine Robinson in your top 10. If the chase started today, those 10 would be in. Everyone else would be out. But we have 21 races to go before we even get to the chase, and a lot of miles yet to play out. Keisha Fox on the outside looking in. Joe Bird, the Daytona 500 champion, in 12th. Roberta Crown Jr. in 13th, ahead of Delana Delahaye. Celeste Sullivan, top 15. Penn Harrington and Riley Dominguez, 16th and 17th in the points, ahead of Sonia Walker, Fred Jones, and Everett Jackson, running out your top 20 in the point standings. This was the first race to see the introduction of the top 35 system this season. Top 35 points locked in from now until the mid-April. So the first 5 races, safety is assured for the top 35. Ciara Rigney, second pole in succession after having pole position last week in Nashville. She'll start alongside Ciara Christensen, who won in Nashville a week ago. Evie Pearson, the rookie, once again showing strength on the short ovals. That Truck Series experience coming to fruition here. She'll start alongside Carissa Everett in row 2. Carmen Sienna and Victor Oldham III, a pair of race winners this season. They sit row 3. Ahead of Sonia Walker, the defending Cup Series champion, and Megan Davenport in row 4. The rookie Violet Hale, most impressive rookie so far through the first 5 races. Qualifies top 10 as well alongside Penn Harrington, Keisha Fox, and Roberta Crown Jr. in row 6. Everett Jackson and Michael Norman in row 7. Thomas Rogers, Celine Robinson, they sit row number 8. Daryl Bird is your Daytona 500 champion alongside Gavin Gray. It's an all-rookie row 9. Taylor Cording and Tommy Ray round out your top 10 here for the start of North Wilkesboro. Neola Force and Jack Kreider make up row 11. Cole Matthews, Fred Jones make up row 12. Zoe Black and Delana Delahaye make up row 13, ahead of Caitlin Hunter and Celeste Sullivan. Chase Clark, Riley Dominguez, they are row 15, 29th and 30th on the grid. Tasha Wright, Matilda Atalanta, Ben Kreider, and Chris Pauley. Shea Mendoza, the top 35. They all qualified in the top 35 qualifying session. The bottom 5 determined by the open, the unsecured time trials. Albert Nash of Peters Racing was the fastest of that session. He'll be 36 on the grid. Cam Anderson for Emerson Motorsports in row 19 alongside the Brazilian Benedito Magalhães, Hayden Norton, and Max Kuhn. We'll round out the 40-car field here. Those are the 5 fastest from open qualifying earlier in the weekend. 400 laps here to drive. It's time to get down to business. Let's go ahead and let's send it trackside with those most famous words in all of motorsports right now.
Drivers, start your engines.
And just like that, it is time to get ready to go racing here in North Wilkesboro. 400 laps here. As we get ready to go racing, it's Rigney and Christensen front and center in the field. The 40 cars ready to go racing at this very hollowed ground in North Carolina. Pace car is in. The green flag flies. The Goodyear 400 is on. Hey, we're racing in North Wilkesboro. Already 3 wide in the back of the field. Aiden Norton trying to drive his way forward in the field. As Rigney gets clear, Christensen drops down the order just a little bit. It is Pearson up to second place. Packed grandstands here in North Wilkesboro. For the first time in 29 years, we are racing in the Cup Series here at this 0.625 mile short oval. It is very asymmetrical. Located on a hill. You go downhill into turns 1 and 2. It's uphill towards turn 3 and 4. Provides a very unique experience that the drivers have to sort of deal and manage with. Christensen, after dropping spots early, trying to surge back forward in that 87 machine. Getting back up into the 3rd spot, trying to chase down now the 81 of Pearson. Pearson, the only driver that has any technical experience at this racetrack, raced here not in the trucks, but in the super late models a couple of years ago. Of course, this racetrack, we talked about it being dead and brought back to life. This track was decaying pretty massively over the past 25 years. Recent efforts to get this track brought back to life and brought back to health has resulted in what we see now, a very fresh-looking racetrack. Safety barrier all the way around. And racing well and truly now underway in the Cup Series for the first time here in North Wilkesboro. Violet Hales gained 1 spot. Up into the 9th position, battling for 10th is Harrington and Carissa Everett. Often put in the same vein as Bristol and Martinsville, it is a little bit closer to Richmond. A little bit more spacing. That extra 1/8 of a mile goes a long way. You see 3 wide there, Harrington, Rogers, Crown. They're all battling just outside the top 10. Crown trying to make his way forward. A little bit of contact between the 2 Fords. As Crown makes his way on through into the 12th position. Sorry, make that 11th now for Crown. And he's going to quickly attack the 23 of Victor Oldham III. And try to get into that top 10. Right now, 14th, there's Daryl Bird for Comet Racing. Caitlin Hunter already up into the top 15. Looking outstanding at the moment. Cole Matthews in 16th place. With Tasha right on his bumper. 17th for the number 90. Delahaye in 18th. 19th, then Kreider. Neil LaForce battling for 20th with Everett Jackson. I think he's going to get the advantage on that exchange. Jackson now dealing with Cam Anderson and Michael Norman. Shane Mendoza battling for 24th with Matilda Atalanta. Jack Kreider in 27th. Taylor Cording. Sorry, Jack Kreider in 26th now. Taylor Cording down to 27th. There's Magalays getting around Jace Clark. And one thing you're seeing is very quintessential North Wilkesboro. The inside lane's the best place to be on the corners. Good luck holding it for all 4 corners of the lap. Either you're really good in 3 and 4 or you're really good in 1 and 2. You're not going to be great in both. more often than not. Chris Pauly, this is a game of hard knocks for him. He has not been to a track quite like this in his career. Coming over from the Supercars Championship. Still battling 3 wide there with Albert Nash and with Aiden Norton. Rigney out in front. Christensen is caught right back up to the 81 of Pearson. Pearson trying to keep the former champion at bay. Easier said than done. Traffic will become an issue for the race leaders here. They're running 20.9s. The back of the field is running 22 second laps at the moment. That is where they're sitting right now. You can see the packed grandstands from all the way around here. Beautiful sight here in the hills of Appalachia. Top 3 have really pulled away, making Davenport in that 4th spot, Sienna in 5th. Fox teammates there with Sienna in the 6th position. Sonia Walker in 8th. 9th is Violet Hale. Crown Jr. up to 9th. Harrington in the top 10 now. Oldham in the 11th spot. Everyone really fanning out at the moment at the front of the field because they can. But it's about to change a little bit. There's Robinson down in the 40th position, struggling. Her teammates are in the top 10 right now. The 98 has dropped well down the order, now in danger of going a lap down pretty quickly because there is Kira Rigney in that conversation. Christensen will try to get around the 81 here before they get into traffic. I think Christensen was kind of biding her time because they both were just outrunning the rest of the field. They weren't really losing Kira Rigney. Jack Kreider's come down pit lane. Unplanned pit stop for the 28 for Eldorado Racing. Not a good start here for the 28 camp. Every point matters at the moment. You see Davenport there in 4th. Teammates 5th and 6th. Sienna and Fox. There's Hale in 7th. And here comes Roberto Crown Jr. is on a charge. On an absolute tear. He's already up into the top 8. Looking at getting around the 24 now of Violet Hale. That 88 car has got something going. He's got to work through the field. Didn't have the greatest qualifying session yesterday. But you know what? He's doing a pretty good job right now. Doing a pretty good job indeed. Jack Kreider back out on the racetrack, saying that there was contact and it resulted in a tire rub that they had to address before that car ended up blowing a tire. And unfortunately, that's going to put him 2 laps down immediately. You can see now the holdup that is checked up to 80 as she tries to get around Robinson. There's Magalays, Gray, Cording, and Max Kuhn just up the road there as well, the 22. Pretty quick fashion that Rigney has caught up to the back of the field to try to put them a lap down here. find now a way around Max Kuhn. There's Dominguez and Chris Pauly battling just up the road. We are 29 laps in out of 400, and Kira Rigney is already on an absolute tear. Pearson's gotten back around the 87 of Christensen. Just now is Davenport even coming close to finding the lap traffic. And this group's not really in danger either. Like, you're all the way down to 10th place. You're pretty much safe. Rogers and Oldham, they're on an island at the moment. Everett in 13th. Hunter in 14th. Daryl Bird top 15 at the moment. Michael Norman sitting 16th. Ben Kreider, Tasha Wright. Got some drivers on a bit of an island at the moment, but it is not easy. Laps will chip away rapidly. Pearson and Christensen have caught right up to the bumper of Kira Rigney here. Rigney will try to get around Jace Clark as Christensen tries to get around the 81 of Pearson for that second spot. Very reminiscent vibes to what we saw in Nashville a week ago. And Pearson just well up the racetrack there. Matilda Atalanta getting ready to go a lap down, it looks like. And that Qantas 42 machine. Pearson trying to follow through in that third spot. It is the Three Musketeers at the front of the field. Engine blown. So Tommy Ray will have an early exit once again here in North Wilkesboro. Another engine expiration there for Sunrise Motorsports. And Satomi Ray will walk out with a 40th place finish. Devastating for the 4 count. We stay green. Three Musketeers have now worked themselves up to Fred Jones in the 23rd position. Everett Jackson 24th. As they all work around each other right now. Ridney's going to put it 3 wide with no regard for the lap traffic right now. Pearson up to second in that number 81. Now they're caught up to the tail end of Cole Matthews in the 15. He is 22nd on the racetrack. Saw the 87 of Christensen go really high and wide there in 3 and 4. Driving in super deep there. Couldn't make it stick. Rigney and Pearson trying to work around the 15 now. And there are some rapid race cars right now. Just chipping away through the field to put them a lap down. Rigney gets clear and now has some clear space all the way to Forrest down in 21st. Cam Anderson in 20th. Delana Delahaye in 19th position. A little bit of a gap there. Car down pit lane is Anderson. Down to the 40-mile-an-hour zone. Not sure if that's a scheduled pit stop or not. Lap 40, I believe it's a little early for pit stops. You can go a decent margin, I believe, on a tank of fuel. I don't believe the Goodyear tires are wearing that quickly. They've only lost about half a second of their pace So I would definitely believe that they definitely have a little bit of mileage left to go in them. Everyone working on a rhythm. You see Anderson leaving pit lane now. That number 10 machine going 2 laps down, just like Jack Kreider did earlier on in the race. Hearing that it is a gearbox failure for Satomi Ray this go around. Not an engine failure, but a gearbox failure. A lot of shifting here in North Wilkesboro. 5 gears in these vehicles. We'll shift down from 5th to 3rd quite often. And likewise, have to get back up into 5th gear. Oldham and Rogers have gotten around Albert Nash and Aiden Norton. Brittany closing in just a little bit on Neola Force in that 31 machine, sitting now in the 20th position. Cam Anderson, fresh tires. Going to try to run away and avoid going a 3rd lap down. I'd have to hazard that he might be successful in that endeavor for the moment. He's gotten around Delahaye, and we'll try to ensure a gap to the car 80. Kira Rigney now trying to find a way around the 31 of Neola Force. Completing lap 47 here of 400 in the Goodyear 400 here in North Wilkesboro. Neola Force, 20th place, is now lapped. Delahaye next on the chopping block in 19th position. And you see this madhouse all for position for the most part. Davenport in 4th. You see there's Roberto Crown Jr. in the top 5 now in the 88 machine. Having himself a pretty good day at the moment ahead of Sonia Walker. Walker in 6th, Harrington in 7th. Keisha Fox in the 8th position. Carmen Sienna has struggled with the lap traffic, has now dropped down into the 10th position behind Violet Hale. There's Robinson in 34th behind her teammate trying to follow through. A little bit of contact there between Sienna and Hale as Sienna tries to grab a position back. 24 moved up the racetrack. The 96 will go on through. I don't think the 24 will be super appreciative of that. And there's Rogers and Oldham all in that conversation. Michael Norman leads the best of those that have not yet touched lap traffic yet in 13th. Caitlin Hunter 14th. Carissa Everett in 15th place. Ben Kreider and Daryl Bird, your top 17. 18th is Tasha Wright, and there's Cam Anderson, as we mentioned, came down pit lane. Unscheduled stop. They put fresh tires on that car, and he is working his way now through the field, trying to stay ahead of car 80 right now. Kira Rigney on the bumper of Delahaye, but with company, because here is Pearson and here's Christensen in his 3-car fight at the front of the field. How aggressive is Pearson going to be in the 81 car to try to get the race lead? Every lap so far has been led by the pole sitter, and here you go. A chance to move the 80 up the racetrack, and she does. Pearson moves the 80 of Rigney up the racetrack. And caution's out. Caution has come out for the first time. And it's for Fred Jones and several other cars involved here. Oh my goodness. Something happened to Fred Jones. He was around completely backwards. Everyone all sorts of confused here, including us up here in the booth. What happened in this race to really set the tone? Delahaye will be the first car a lap down, and will get the free pass. What happened to draw the caution? Oh, Fred Jones, his car just came to a stop. He just lost drive after pit entry. And yeah, that's a caution, unfortunately. Nowhere for Sonia Walker to go with a car in the middle of the racetrack. Celine Robinson gets pit hit and gets a piece of it. Several cars do. So while all that's going underway, we'll take our first break of the evening here. Stay tuned to CBS for more of the Goodyear 400 from North Wilkesboro after this. Welcome back, everyone, to North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Goodyear 400 here on CBS, the AT&T Cup Series 6th race of the season. Getting ready to go back racing here in a little over a lap. Evie Pearson, your race leader, pit stops, helping sequence and change things. A wild first caution. Fred Jones stopped on the racetrack. It's damage on car 80, the pole sitter, and on the 87 of Ciara Christensen. Evie Pearson made it through unscathed. So did the 20 of Megan Davenport. So this will be a very interesting restart indeed with the 87 and the 80 on the outside lane. Penn Harrington in 5th, Roberta Crown Jr. in 6th, Keisha Fox top 7, Carmen Sienna in 8th, then it's Victor Oldham in 9th, Violet Hale in the top 10. Thomas Rogers 11th, Michael Norman 12th, 13th, Sonia Walker, 14th, Caitlin Hunter, 15th, Carissa Everett, 16th, Ben Kreider, Tasha Wright 17th, Shane Mendoza will end up being 23rd here as we get ready to go back racing. Silver cars move to the back of the field due to speeding infringements on pit lane. It is Evie Pearson getting ready to go back racing as the race leader. The green flag flies, and away we go. How goes the 80 and the 87 still? They got a pretty good jump there on that initial restart. The first one of the evening. How much will it matter? As they get ready to roll around here. Pearson sitting in that second spot. Christensen leads. Davenport third. Rigney's dropped down to the 5th position, but now back in line behind Harrington. And we're back underway. Only one retirement in this race. Sammy Ray for a gearbox issue not related to the caution we saw with Fred Jones several laps ago. Field rolling around the back of the field. That's Delahaye, who was the free pass recipient at the very tail end. Battling right now with Cam Anderson and looking for track position at the moment. Kira Rigney was class of the field the first segment of the race. Damage on that car, on that number 80 machine. They have flattened most of that car back out. The front end still a little bit buckled in. Wilkesboro is a track that is very physical. Sort of have to grit your teeth and bear it. That is where they're at the moment. Rigney in 5th, Fox in 6th, Thomas Rogers in 7th, Walker 8th. Roberta Crown Jr. back up into the top 9. Michael Norman right now battling to try to be the lead team car for Love Motorsports. It's been the school of hard knocks for the former F1 driver. Best qualifying effort so far this season. Qualified this race 17th. And now he's getting around Oldham to move up into the top 10. All 3 Lubbock cars, though, in that conversation. There's Violet Hale, there's Oldham. So everyone's still rolling around at the moment. Oldham now down to 13th ahead of Carissa Everett. Ben Crowder in the 15th position on the lead lap. Surrounded by lap down cars. Tasha Wrightley lap in 16th place. Joe Bird 17th on lead lap. The Force lead lap in 18th place. th is Caitlin Hunter. Paul Matthews, Delana Delahaye, all trying to work their way forward at the moment in various scales. Christensen trying to pull away from Pearson, similar to how we saw with Kira Rigney earlier on in the race. Davenport in 3rd, Harrington in 4th, applying the pressure. Rigney still in that conversation in 5th. Rogers in 6th. A little bit of a gap to the 97 of Fox. And Walker, Crown, Norman in 10th, but with heavy pressure from both Hale and Sienna that have already traded blows twice in this race, the 96 and the 24. Both drivers elbows out early here in North Wilkesboro. Sienna trying to get around Hale again. Chasing Hale up the racetrack. Hale stays in that 11th spot at the moment. But I had to keep an eye on for the 24 and the 96 as they continue to battle out here in North Wilkesboro early on. Christensen still leads the way. Pearson in 2nd. Davenport in 3rd. Rigney's got around Rogers and Harrington down to 6th. Rigney up to 4th place as she tries to shuffle back into that top 3 conversation. Everyone's skating around on this fresh asphalt. Oh, huge hit to the fence. That is Sullivan. That's tagged the fence hard. Completely misjudged it in car 11. And pancakes the passenger side into the safety barrier. Battling with Aiden Norton and with not Daryl Bird. Daryl Bird's on the lead lap. They are not. Chris Pauley is a lap down as well, the 43 car. Zoe Black is on the lead lap in 17th position. Right there in the conversation. So you got battle for position a lap down as well as battle for the lead lap position in that conversation right now. But Sullivan really smacked the wall to turn 2 pretty hard. You do see some damage on the 98. And you got a really good look at the back of that car and what's not there, the bumper. That would affect you really negatively on larger racetracks, whether it's super speedways, whether it's the intermediate ovals, tracks, you know, like Texas, Charlotte. Doesn't affect you so much here. As long as the suspension pieces are all good, you got a chance, and you're seeing that right now. Robinson getting around Jace Clark, who is in good condition in that 7 car. Robinson is surging forward now. In fact, this is the highest that Robinson's run all night. 81 laps in, Robinson up into the 28th position. Was down in 35th when that caution came out the first go around. So pretty big bonuses there for the 98 crew, making the best that they can out of what they've got. Christensen is caught up. 2-lap traffic. That is Atalanta coming up on that conversation. Pearson in second will try to catch up. Battle for fourth behind Robinson. Not behind Robinson, behind Davenport is Harrington, Rigney, and Rogers. Further back, Keisha Fox leads over Walker and Crown. That's 7th, 8th, and 9th. And Crown would like to get around the 60 again. These two have had a perennial battle all night long so far. Here comes the battle for the 10th spot. And Violet Hale is going to surge forward around her teammate Michael Norman for position number 10. Norman 11th, Oldham in 12th, Sienna in 13th now. Everett 14th still. Big Crider top 15. 16th is we're going to find Daryl Bird. Zoe Black 17th. Neola Force in the 18th spot. 19th, Tasha Wright. 20th, Caitlin Hunter getting around Fred Jones. You see the damage on his 86 car as well. 21st, Delana Delahaye. Cole Matthews 22nd. And there's Christensen getting around Gavin Gray, now working on Albert Nash in the 17th. Christensen's going to try to get around Albert Nash now. Pearson's still behind Gavin Gray at the moment. So 2-car buffer between Christensen and Pearson as Pearson tries to work around Gavin Gray and does so. But more cars in that conversation because 3rd through 6th are not far away. Davenport, Rigney, Rogers, and Harrington are all still within earshot of the top 2. Caution's out. Thought we saw the lights on. Someone had spun. Not entirely sure who it was, but caution does come out. The first car lap down is going to be Shane Mendoza, who will get the free pass. And the leaders will come down the pit lane now. So second caution. We will investigate to see what the cause of that caution was, but we'll step aside for a break while we do that. So stay tuned here for more racing from North Wilkesboro. Second caution of the night as we approach closer to lap 100 here in North Wilkesboro. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the Goodyear 400 here in North Wilkesboro Speedway. Everyone getting ready to go back racing here. Sarah Christensen leads the way. Evie Pearson had to come down pit lane twice. A loose wheel. Checking up the 81 machine. So the 81 now back at the end of the lead lap there. Shane Mendoza, your free pass recipient, will join in the tail of the lead lap there. Lights out on the pace car, which means we're getting ready to go racing. The cause of the second caution, a spin between Gavin Gray and Albert Nash. Both cars still rolling. Albert Nash lightly tapped the wall in turns 1 and 2. And you see not a lot of damage there on the 17. As we get ready to go racing, Kira Rigney and Ciara Christensen at the front of the field. A little more work done on the 80 car to to get that car in race contention once again. But it's time for us to get ready to go back racing. Green flag flies away. We go. Good restart there for Rigney. Thomas Rogers in second place. Christensen in third. And the Hornet's Nest commences once again in North Wilkesboro as we start lap 100. Caution is out again. I believe we saw the culprit, Aiden Norton. Couldn't go back a lap here. Bit chaotic. And there you can see the 4 wide just does not go. And you see the chaos that spawned there. Everyone very quick to get going, though. Very surprising to how quickly everyone moved in that situation. So Rigney out in front, Rogers in second. Pit stops commencing once again for some of those off the lead lap. And while we do that, we'll step aside again for a very quick break under caution for the third time. A massive spin, but everyone's still rolling here in North Wilkesboro. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS. Race 6, the Goodyear 400, under our third caution, coming to our third restart of the evening. Giant multi-car spin that did not eliminate any cars from contention, but did neutralize the field. One car did get the free pass, the 98 of Celine Robinson. Gives us 24 cars on the lead lap here, with 39 still running. The only retirement, a gearbox failure for Satomi Ray in P40 now. Pace car pulling down pit lane. It is Rigney and Rogers front of the field. Your pole sitter alongside car number 2. As we get ready to go back racing here in North Wilkesboro, the green flag flies, away we go. Rogers grabs the quick restart. Harrington trying to follow through. Won't be able to. And everyone's scrambling. Trouble! Fred Jones in the fence. Fourth caution. Gavin Gray, Albert Nash, Max Kuhn, Chris Pauly, Fred Jones. All in trouble. We'll stack them up. Our fourth restart coming up. This is what happened. Part of the conversation right here. Jack Kreider trying to force his way through. And it starts up ahead. Another 4-wide situation. Take a look here once again, focusing on the 22 of Max Kuhn, that orange Auto Tradies machine. 4 wide. Dominguez up against the fence. It was Chris Pauly in between Dominguez and Max Kuhn. And so they stack up again. Rogers now at the race lead as his teammate falters and stumbles on this fourth caution of the race. Wild racing at the moment. See cars down pit lane. That is Albert Nash. Celeste Sullivan coming down pit lane. And while they clean up this most recent caution, we'll step aside once again. Trying to get all of our ad breaks in now while we can. Stay tuned here on CBS. Welcome back, everyone, to the Goodyear 400 here on CBS, the AT&T Cup Series. Fourth caution, fourth restart coming up. There's Thomas Rogers that leads the way over Kira Rigney, Tiara Christensen, Ben Harrington, Sonia Walker, Victor Oldham. Your top six: Roberta Crown Jr. in seventh, Keisha Fox in eighth, Violet Hale in ninth, Evie Pearson back up into the top 10. Megan Davenport 11th, Michael Norman in 12th, 13th, Carmen Sienna, 14th, Zoe Black, Shea Mendoza 15th, Caitlin Hunter 16th, 17th, Elena Delahaye, 18th, Tasha Wright, 19th, Neela Force, 20th, Daryl Bird, 25 on the lead lap, Jace Clark, the free pass recipient under this caution. Pace car is in. The green flag flies. We're back underway here in North Wilkesboro, and Rigney back out front. Sleepy on the wheels on the restart there was Thomas Rogers. But the question is, are we going to get through this lap without issue? Almost the answer was no. Jack Kreider and Fred Jones tried it. 3 wide throughout the field, though. We'll see if someone pays the price. Everyone jockeying for position here. Rigney, though, out in front and in free sailing, already clearing the 2 and the 21 by almost a second. Here comes Christensen battling for second place. Trying to get back up to the 80 car. That 80 car just has something else right now. Even with a wounded race car, just pulled a gap immediately. Walker battling with Harrington at the moment. The 20 and the 61. Sorry, 21 and 60. Look at the 81 of Pearson. All the way back up into the top 5, chasing down the 60. Trying to get clear, so she can apply the pursuit to the 87 and the 80 once again. Caution out for the 5th time. And Jace Clark's part of the reason why. And that's not the reason why the yellow came out. The yellow came out for Celeste Sullivan getting turned and going for a pirouette. Getting turned by Tasha Wright. Not ideal. But then it gets worse. Whoa, Max Kuhn got turned, and then the 5 turns the 7. All sorts of madness here. Max Kuhn looks like he bounces off the fence. He does. Into the path of Celine Robinson. So a little bit of madness here now in the race in North Wilkesboro. Tempers beginning to flare a little bit, it looks like. The more cautions we have, the more cars that end up back on the lead lap. Benedito Magalhães will end up being the free pass recipient here. The Brazilian in car 51. There he is on pit lane right now. His car not without its battle wounds. You can see pretty clearly on the passenger side. And with that, we'll step aside and get ready for this upcoming restart, the 5th one of the night here from North Wilkesboro. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the Goodyear 400. Here at North Wilkesboro, 5th restart coming up. Kira Rigney leads the way. 26 cars on the lead lap. Kira Rigney leads the way over Sierra Christensen, Thomas Rogers, Edie Pearson, Penn Harrington, Roberta Crown Jr., Megan Davenport, Carmen Sienna, Victor Oldham, Violet Hale, your top 10. Keisha Fox, 11th. Delana Delahaye in 12th. 13th, Zoe Black. 14th, Daryl Bird. 15th, Celine Robinson. 16th, Caitlin Hunter. Michael Norman, 17th. Ben Kreider, 18th. 19th, Tasha Wright. 20th, Jace Clark. 21st, Sonia Walker. 22nd, Shane Mendoza. Neola Force, 23rd. 24th, Cole Matthews. 25th, Carissa Everett. 26th, last car on lead lap, Benedito Magalhães. As we get ready to go back racing for the 5th time here in North Wilkesboro. It has become a madhouse here in North Carolina. Rigney, Christensen, two of the most dominant cars so far today. They get us back underway. Green flag flies once again here in North Wilkesboro. Christensen could not get clear of the 80. Tried and couldn't. And Christensen gets to the lead and stays there. Sorry, Brittany gets the lead and stays there. Christensen in 2nd place. As the wounded cars battle further back. Towards the fence. Whoa, trouble potentially. That was Neola Force getting a huge shot by the 32 Everett Jackson. And somehow saved it. This is Neola Force's bread and butter. Short track racing. Her forte. Uses some of that car control to keep that car on the racetrack and not in the wall. But aggression becoming a little bit more common here. Hale in 10th. Look at the 98 Celine Robinson up into the 11th position now. Pretty wild stuff at the moment. Rigney leads. Christian 2nd. Battle for 3rd between Rogers, Pearson, Harrington, and Oldham. I think Pearson's got the best car, but not the best line of the four in this battle for the conversation. Everyone was just wanting to get laps under green here. And it seems like we might be on our way to start that process at least. Trying to hang tightly to that third spot at the moment. 49 cars still running despite all the chaos over the last 5 cautions. No retirements here. Only retirement was Tommy Ray with a gearbox failure very early on into the race within the first 40 laps. Whoa, trouble. Harrington. Huge trouble, Harrington. Huge trouble. Caution's out. Huge trouble for the 21. And everyone scrambles trying to avoid. Harrington noticed the issue and tried to get down pit lane, but couldn't. And we have a traffic jam here. Oh my goodness! Harrington upside down. A huge disaster here. And it's led to Penn Harrington being upside down. Welcome back, everyone, to the Goodyear 400 as we get ready to go back racing here in North Wilkesboro. 6th caution of the night. Penn Harrington up and over as a result. 3 retirements now in this race. So Tommy Ray out with a gearbox failure, and 2 because of the 6th caution. Harrington and Caitlin Hunter both out. It is Kira Rigney and Ciara Christensen that leads the way over Rogers and Evie Pearson, your top 4. 24 on the lead lap as we get ready to go back racing here at a 37 still running in North Carolina. The green flag flies and away we go. Rigney leads the way. From Kira Rigney as he pulls away at the moment. Evie Pearson getting that 2nd position. Fisher Oldham the 3rd, sitting right now in that 3rd spot. Sonia Walker battling with Ciara Christensen for 4th place. Roberta Crown Jr. in that battle as well with Thomas Rogers. Carmen Sienna sitting right now in the 8th spot. Keisha Fox in 9th. Megan Davenport sitting in 10th ahead of Carissa Everett. Violet Hale in 12th right now in that number 24 for Ludwig Motorsports. Daryl Bird, Tasha Wright on the conversation. Trouble! That's Mendoza around. And they stack up again. Mendoza just got floored. What happened to Shane Mendoza? We'll take a look. He got help. The question is from who? The 3-0 behind him. Did he get help by his teammate? That's going to make an awkward conversation. 100% he did. Got completely driven through by Norton. Got completely driven through by Aiden Norton. And that will be a very interesting team conversation, I think, is how that's going to play out. Tasha Wright will get the free pass, the number 90. For our 7th caution of the night. And what does it turn to? A rage fest here in North Wilkesboro. We'll be back here in about 120 seconds here on CBS for more of North Wilkesboro and the chaos it provides right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Goodyear 400. Getting ready to go back racing here. Our 7th restart of the night is underway. It's Pearson and Rigney at the front of the field. And away we go. Rigney had the preferred line. Pearson trying to hold off Oldham for that 2nd spot. Not quite clear. Oldham sits on that inside lane looking for 2nd. Battling it on through here. Car down pit lane is the 97, Akeisha Fox. This is not a planned pit stop. That's a loose wheel on the 97. That'll throw Akeisha Fox off the lead lap. Rigney, Oldham, Christensen, Pearson, top 4. Rogers in 5th. Darrell Bird up to the top 6. Behind Darrell Bird, there's Sienna, Burke Brown Jr., Sonia Walker, Carissa Everett, your top 10. Megan Davenport, 11th. Cole Matthews in 12th. Shea Mendoza, 13th. There's Neola Force, 14th. Battle 15th. Magalays getting around Edward Jackson. Car in the fence, Gavin Gray. Hard in the fence, Dominguez. Seeing the effects of the wounded race cars. Whoa, what just happened to 97? Really ran down pit lane there. Very physical further back in the pack here. Everyone dancing around right now. Kira Rigney, though, out in front, looking pretty secure. Oldham in second, Pearson in third, Christensen fourth, Rogers top five. Daryl Bird currently leading the best of the rest right now, and it's a dogfight. Sienna, Everett, Walker, and Crown all in the conversation. Davenport 11th, 12th, Neola Force. Cole Matthews 13th. 14th, Magalays. 15th is Tasha Wright. 16th is where you'll find Riley Dominguez. 17th, Edward Jackson. 18th, Violet Hale. 19th, Celine Robinson. 20th, Shea Mendoza. 21st, Zoe Black. 22nd, Taylor Courting. 23rd and 24th, that's where you'll find Delana Delahaye and Michael Norman. Your last cars on the lead lap at the moment. Pearson really applying pressure there to the 23 of Oldham. Trying to find a way around. Christensen adding to this battle for second place. Within the top 10 at the moment. Bird, Crown, Sienna. Neola Force, there's 31. Trying to surge forward. Finding her footing here on the short oval in North Carolina. Got around Sienna, got around Crown, trying to get around Daryl Bird, and will do so in 3 and 4. That'll move Force up into the 7th spot. Chris Everett there sitting in the 6th spot. Neola Forest teammates there for Robert Carver Racing. Closing in. Running on board with Force. Get right to the bumper of the 3. Force trying to drive Everett up the racetrack. Looks pretty successful in that endeavor. But not successful enough. Everett holds on to that 6th spot at the moment. Force sitting in that 7th spot. Everett in 6th. Rogers in 5th. We'll see Oldham's been passed there by Pearson and now by Christensen. Pearson in 2nd. Christensen in 3rd. Rigney's already gotten to the bumper of Shea Mendoza, 24th and last on the lead lap at the moment. There you go. Battle for position here. Force going to finally get around the 3 of Everett. And move up into that 6th spot, looking for the top 5, potentially, for Neil LaForce. Should not be a surprise. The regional short track driver from Ohio coming to life here on one of the most historic short ovals on the Cup Series calendar. Everett in 7th. Sonia Walker 8th. Roberto Crown Jr. in 9th. Battle for 10th here between Bird and Sienna. And Sienna's going to grab 10th spot away. Violet Hale up to 12th. Surging forward in that 24 car. Surging forward with anger and vengeance in that 24 machine. It has not been an easy day for Violet Hale. Tasha Wright in 13th place. 14th is where you'll find Megan Davenport. Dominguez in that battle for 14th as well. Magale's in that conversation. That seemed like a bit of smoke, didn't it? No caution. We stayed green. Puff of smoke we thought we saw was actually a floodlight. So we will disregard that. Evie Pearson, though, has taken over the lead of the race. And we're not entirely sure what happened. Because there's Pearson now at the front of the field. Where is the 80? I think we need to zoom out here. What happened to Kira Rigney? There she is. In 7th. Still on the lead lap. But something is amiss on car 7. Let's take a look. I think we're going to have an idea here. 100% we're going to have an idea here. This is why Adelanto's down pit lane. Got turned by Keisha Fox in front of the path of Kira Rigney. Somehow this does not draw a caution because both cars were off the racetrack and were able to get back going. Adelanto hits the pit wall. But Rigney does keep the car going. But loses spot. So that's exactly what happened from the lead of the race. Kira Rigney in trouble. It's Everett down pit lane as well, the 3. But now it's Evie Pearson, the rookie. Out in front here. And caution's out now. And it's Daryl Bird in trouble. Caution is out. And did he get help? 100% he got help from Tasha Wright. Sent him well up the racetrack. And vengeance is the name of the game here in North Wilkesboro. Delahaye will be the free pass recipient. And we'll step aside. We've crossed the halfway point here. Caution number 8 of the night here in North Wilkesboro as pit stops take place. We'll rejoin you in a moment here on CBS. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series on CBS. Neil LaForce, your race leader, our 8th restart coming up here. It is Force and Hale, your front of the field. Tasha Wright, 3rd. Evie Pearson in 4th. Oldham and Christensen, row 3. Rigney and Walker, row 4. A couple of retirements to report on. Aiden Norton is out. Taylor Cording is out. Norton out because of the accident that led into the 8th caution of the night. Taylor Cording out with an engine failure. The green flag flies. Once again, we're back underway. And immediately it is Violet Hale and Evie Pearson that get the jump on the restart. around your race leader. Christensen battling with Walker and Force for the third spot. Still 3 wide. And Pearson out in front once again. Hale in second. Christensen now in third. Christensen trying to find a way around Violet Hale. Keep an eye on the 60 of Sonia Walker, looking for an advantage as well. Sienna's making her way back forward. Forrest out of position, beginning to fall backwards in the running order. Pearson out in front. Here comes Walker for third. Trying to get around both Christensen and Hale to move up into the runner-up spot. Dives it in turn 3 and 4. And we'll get it. Second place, Walker. Both the 24 and the 31 attempted a 2-tire pit stop under that caution. And you can see that it's not quite worked out. Here comes Rogers around. Here comes Rigney to go through. 3 wide. Sienna in the middle. Sienna struggling to put grip down. But the loser on this, more than anything, is going to be Christensen, who's falling backwards, hand over fist. Still 3 wide. Three wide for the back. As everyone dances with serpentines under power. Rigney gets around Rogers for third. Trying to chase down Sonia Walker for second. Pearson has an entire straightaway advantage right now at the front of the field. Sullivan, the last car, 1 lap down. Sitting in the 26th spot. Pearson trying to catch up and put Sullivan that second lap down. Battle for second underway. And Rigney's going to try to make quick work here of car 60. And Walker can't really fight it. Rigney goes through. Rogers going to try to look for that third spot now. Door is open. Try to go for it. Car coming down pit lane. That's Rigney. Rigney coming down pit lane. Just after getting second place back, has to come down pit lane. Not sure why. It's not a penalty. It had been served way earlier than that if it had been. And now Pearson once again left to her own devices at the front of the field. It's Rogers now in second. Davenport in third. Fourth is Oldham. Fifth is Walker. Pearson has caught up to the 11 of Sullivan. Rogers in second. Davenport in third. Fourth is Oldham. Walker in fifth. Christensen in 6th. Sienna 7th. 8th, Roberto Crown Jr. 9th, Celine Robinson. 10th is Violet Hale. 11th, Benedito Magalhaes. Everyone trying to dance around at the moment. There's Delanda Delahaye in 12th. 13th, Riley Dominguez. 14th, Daniela Force. Tasha Wright, 15th. 16th, Ben Kreider. Kira Rigney now 2 laps down in 25th position. And there's Kira Rigney. Got around Sullivan with no problem. Battle for second. Davenport around Rogers. Here comes Oldham to the conversation as well. Davenport. Trying to hold on to that second spot. Battle for third now between Oldham and Rogers as Davenport gets around the 11 of Sullivan. Walker under pressure there from Christensen further back. This is for the top 5. Davenport in second, trying to chip away at the lap traffic. But Pearson is out in front by a pretty decent margin. Pearson now trying to catch up to both Rigney and Neola Force. Huge plume of smoke. And you see the 3 down pit lane. Would hazard to believe the 2 are connected. Let's take a look. Replay on your screen. Did Robinson help out the 3 of Chris Everett? 110%. Absolutely. Everett bounced off the fence. And Robinson decided to just kind of take care of the rest. Pearson around Force. Rigney on fresher tires, trying to stay ahead of the 81 now to avoid losing another lap. Pearson closing in, but so is Megan Davenport. Megan Davenport right there in the conversation. Trying to lead the field to the promised land, or the group at least that's in this top 5 conversation. Rogers third, Oldham fourth. Christensen in fifth, getting around forced now. Hale goes a lap down. The 2-tire stop strategy did not work out for the 24 or the 31. See Chris Ever back on the racetrack. 3-car now missing its bumper altogether. Sullivan getting passed out by Rigney, Pearson, and Atalanta. Coming down pit lane, Gavin Gray. Not sure what the issue is with the 53 car, but he is coming down pit lane a little bit wounded. F1 struggling with lap traffic now to some degree. Pearson now looking at the tail end of Mendoza in 23rd. There's Daryl Bird in 23rd. Rigney, this is for position for Kira Rigney. Not for Albert Nash, though. 32nd for him. He is multiple laps off the pace. And getting help through the corner there a little bit by the 80. Pearson trying the outside lane to get around. It might work. It's bold. Gavin Gray leaves pit lane and rejoins the field. Rigney just trying to stay ahead of Pearson at the moment. To no avail. Pearson on a mission right now. Here's where second place is at the moment. Davenport trying to run the outside lane. And successfully gets around Tasha Wright. And now there's more separation between Davenport and Thomas Rogers and Victor Oldham the third. Ciara Christensen in fifth, trying to catch up as well. Sort of looking throughout the field at the moment. 9th place, Leland Robinson right there. 10th place, Riley Dominguez. There's not many on the lead lap right now. Delahaye 11th. Would not be surprised if that's the last car lead lap. 12th, Benedito Magalhaes. His last car lead lap, 54 for Phoenix Motorsports. And there he is. There's Pearson, not far behind. Pearson working with the rocket ship at the moment. Car 81 leads the way. Kira Rigney in the 20th position is gaining positions, but is now well and truly off the lead lap here. Looking 2 laps down right now. Everyone is all over the place at the moment. It is pretty scatterbrained here in North Wilkesboro. Tony Walker getting around the 90 at Tasha Wright. Battle for 5th there. Crown, Sienna, and Christensen all in that conversation. Battle for 3rd there as well on their own little island. Davenport on an island here, but closing in because Pearson is stuck in a massive smorgasbord of cars. And stuck in the middle as well. Navigated around Celeste Sullivan. Still in this conversation is Pearson stuck on the outside lane, and you're going to see Davenport with a chance at the race lead potentially for the first time today. 72 lap sled for Pearson, but Davenport's got the advantage through turns 1 and 2. And Davenport now takes over the race lead. Race leader Davenport, car in pit lane with a failure of some kind is Dominguez, the 66. So Dominguez will not see this race through. Davenport out in front. Now with several cars in hand between her and Evie Pearson. Chance to lead the way here. See Pearson in second. Looking through the field. Thomas Rogers sits in the third spot right now, pulling away just a little bit from Victor Oldham, the third, and Ciara Christensen, who rounds out your top 5 at the moment. Carmen Sienna, not doing too bad right now, 6th place for the 96 team. Berto Crown Jr., though, in hot pursuit in 7th place in that 88 car for McNally Motorsports. Sonia Walker sitting in the 8th position. The defending Cup Series champion, sitting in the top 10. And they have to go a little bit further back here. 9th place, a damaged race car for Celine Robinson. But right now, currently on the lead lap as things sit. And this gargantuan pile of race cars here is where you'll find Delana Delahaye. Last car on the lead lap, trying to stay that way. But the race leaders are both right there behind. And Delahaye gets shuffled to the outside lane. Pretty massive stuff here. It is just absolute mayhem. 11th place, Benedito Magalhaes just went one lap down. Sitting in 11th spot for him right now. His best race so far, though, position-wise this season, if he can hold on to it. 12th, Edward Jackson. He is also one lap down at the moment. 13th, Michael Norman. 14th, Violet Hale, as they all run right now. 15th, Cole Matthews. 16th, there's Kira Rigney. Back on the one lap down train, getting ahead of the race leaders and not trying to forge her own path forward. th place is where you'll find Zoe Black, 2 laps down. Jace Clark also 2 laps down in 18th, just behind. 19th place is where you'll find, pretty distant far back, your Daytona 500 winner, Daryl Bird. Right now in the top 20 as Violet Hale comes down pit lane. Shea Mendoza up in 19th place. Yellow Force right now in the 20th position. 21st, Chris Pauley. But everyone all over the place right now. Davenport working to get around Cole Matthews, and successfully does so. Most laps led so far. Rigney has led 143. Pearson's led 72. Christensen 37. Davenport 13. 9 for Thomas Rogers. 6 Neola Force. 1 Violet Hale. out in front at the moment. 2 cars between Davenport and Pearson, but it's rookies that lead the way right now. Christensen in a very distant third, working around Thomas Rogers and Victor Oldham. But Christensen right now sitting up in that third spot, having worked to get there. Still light years away, it feels like, from the 81 and the 20. Bit of a hiccup there is going to allow Rogers and Oldham right back into the conversation. And here comes Rogers into said conversation. Back up to fourth. Rogers back up to third as they navigate traffic on their own. Pearson in second. No cars between Pearson and Davenport now for the moment. So that is likely to change. More cars down pit lane. Sullivan in car 11 down pit lane here. We've entered the grind era of the race here at the moment, as Forrest goes another lap down. Davenport continues to be the trendsetter out in front. Pearson trying to get around Albert Nash. Surge forward here. Battle for third continues to rage on here. Rogers, Christensen, and Oldham all in this battle for third. Battle of their own devices at the moment. Third continuing to rage on here. And Oldham's going to try to take advantage of the position here and get up to third place. Here comes Christensen as well. Pearson got around Tasha Wright and Fred Jones. Still a car in between. Kim Anderson behind Megan Davenport. Center of your screen as she looks at Michael Norman to put him 2 laps down here. Trying to attack Celine Robinson, who is last car on the lead lap right now. And Robinson stays ahead of Norman. The Grind does not stop. We approach the final 100 laps here in North Wilkesboro. It's a busy racetrack, cars all around. But green flag running has finally befallen the field here in North Carolina. Stay tuned. We have a break for your local stations. It's the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS. Pit stops underway for the final time here in North Wilkesboro under green flag conditions. We have had one more driver drop out of the race. Violet Hale with an engine failure out of the running in the final 100 laps here in North Wilkesboro. Brings our running order to 33 at the moment. Leaving pit lane, there you find the 81 of Evie Pearson. See, there is Christensen leaving pit lane now. Will not get ahead of the 81. And a jumbled up field. Pit stops will jumble up the field even more. Davenport, your race leader at the moment once pit stops cycle on through. I do believe Kira Rigney right now leads the way, but has been out on the racetrack for quite a while. Off sequence, but a pit stop I don't believe is too far away for car number 80. And there you see the work Davenport's got to do to get up to the 80 car to get back to the race lead. Davenport just tagged the fence. Not a great look. Rigney just came down pit lane, so Davenport now in the race lead needs to be a little bit more mindful here. Not a lot of pressure to Oldham in second. Even less pressure to right now to Pearson in third. Just got to mind your P's and Q's right now. Car in the fence, big time car in the fence, Fred Jones. A lot of wounded race cars beginning to tag fences here late. Oldham finds his way around Sullivan pretty quickly. Again, he's trying to close the gap down a little bit to Davenport. Let's see if it's possible. Pearson right there in the conversation now for second place. Davenport has led 54 laps today so far. Pearson has led 72. Oldham's not led a lap here in North Wilkesboro yet. They're trying to close in on Davenport. Davenport behind Atalanta. Trying to find a way on through here. They've got a pretty decent gap all the way down to Thomas Rogers in fourth at the moment. Sierra Christensen in fifth. And a little further back down the running order, That's where you'll find Roberto Crown Jr. in 6th. Carmen Sienna in 7th. Car in the fence, Gavin Gray. Sonia Walker, the last car on the lead lap right now, in 8th. Davenport trying to find a way around Atalanta, and does so. Pearson's gotten around the 23 of Oldham. So now she's going to try to reel in the 20 with less than 70 laps to go. There's some working to get around Zoe Black here. Davenport with clean real estate now before she gets to Gavin Gray. Pearson going to try to make quick work here of the 42. And just trying to reel in the 20 here. She is the faster car. See how this pans out. Gray really holding up Davenport here. That gap is gone. Just completely eviscerated. No problem there getting around Gavin Gray for Pearson. Running on board with the 81. Race leader right in front. Getting around Carissa Everett. Both of them will with no issue there. Both right there in the conversation. There's the tail of the race leaders. As the laps continue to tick away, coming to 66 laps to go for the race leaders. They've got lap traffic in front of them. That's both Kreider brothers, Jack and Ben. Chance maybe for Pearson to try to find a way around the car 20 of Davenport. Davenport gets around Jack Kreider. Now trying to get around Ben. There's going to be opportunity there for Pearson. Maybe, not quite. She's going to force it anyway. And Pearson gets bull on the brakes to turns 3 and 4. And gets back to the lead of the race. Evie Pearson, the rookie. Rookie fight there between Pearson and Davenport. But Pearson, a lot more bold and brave. Gets around Davenport and immediately puts distance. in the form of Sullivan and Tasha Wright. Pearson now trying to find a way around around Delahaye and Cole Matthews. Davenport has to try to find a way around Cam Anderson. Meanwhile, Victor Oldham's closed in a little bit in that battle for P3. Not really much of a battle for P3 anymore. Pretty well clear and ahead. There's Christensen in fourth. Thomas Rogers in the top 5 right now, as things currently sit. Crown in 6th. Sienna right now sitting in the 8th position. Sonia Walker has gotten around for 7th. Sienna now the last car on the lead lap. The first car lap down is Celine Robinson in 98. And you can see Pearson and Davenport once again nose to tail. Trying to find a way through. Pearson gets around Gavin Gray. Davenport will try to follow through here through turns 1 and 2. And should be able to do so. Will do so. Here comes Pearson to try to lap both Walker and Sienna. And they both go a lap down just like that. Sienna's going to try to pick off that 7th spot, though, away from Sonia Walker, and does so. Pinned Walker behind the 3 of Everett. And now they all go through. Out in front. With approaching 40 laps to go, looking at a potential first career victory. It would be the second for the 81 car after Porter won that race in Atlanta right after Daytona earlier on in the season, back in February. Rigney's close to breaking back into the top 10 here. In 11th right now. Would have to try to catch up a little bit, or a late caution could change that as well. Actually, hold on, where is 10th place? Oh, Rigney just passed Force for 10th. So Force now in 11th. That is Rigney in the 10th position now. Pearson catching up to 31 to put Force another lap down. Coming to 40 laps to go on the nose. Gavin Gray coming down pit lane, checked up Daryl Bird in a pretty massive way. Not the safest pit entry there, but everyone avoids him. Christensen back down to 5th. Rogers in 4th. Outside of your race leaders, their top 5 on separate islands for the most part. Pearson stuck behind Paulie and Jackson at the moment. Davenport stuck behind Sienna and Force. Davenport trying the outside lane to see if it works out any better. Sienna works Force up out of the bottom lane. And tries to get on through and will. Likewise, Pearson trying the outside lane to get around Paulie and Jackson, and no avail there. And lap traffic is critical with 35 laps to go. It is far from over. It has been a wacky race, but unlike what we saw at Bristol and at Richmond, this race not close to touching the 3-hour time limit. Everett Jackson almost took out the race leader. That was wild. Put in perspective, we have over 20 minutes left in the 3-hour time limit that is set for races in the Cup Series. These are 23-second laps at their slower end. So you're going through over 2 laps a minute, close to 3 laps a minute, more than anything. So with over 20 minutes left to go, all you need is 10 minutes of green flag running. Even under caution here, a lap takes less than a minute. Davenport's closer now to the 81 of Pearson. Sienna's gotten back on the lead lap as Pearson got held up by lap traffic. And there's a lot more of it. There's Sullivan limping around right now in that 11 car. Sienna following Edward Jackson through. Whoa, watch out! Sienna turned by the race leader. Davenport back to the front. Sienna just got turned massively. But we stay green. And Sienna's down pit lane. And the leader's still battling it out. Pearson and Davenport. Pearson back to the front. Race leader's now under the nose, and there's Sienna coming out of pit lane now. Oh, this is going to be spicy. Coming to 26 laps to go. Not sure I want to be part of this conversation. How aggressive is Sienna going to be now? Davenport gives a wide berth. I think Davenport's kind of expecting what's about to happen here. And Sienna's got bumper to bumper on the 81. Oh, dear. We talked about tempers flaring. They had largely calmed down for the most part. Would you like to take a guess about what we're about to see? I would be doing a lot of mirror driving if I was Pearson right now. Cost Sienna a 6th place result. Sienna now down outside the top 10. Obviously a spaced out field. A lot of cars on different laps at this point. Damage is mitigated. But I don't think it's going to help. Pearson, with fresh air, has the ability to sort of try to set the tone, and try to drive away from the 96. The 96 trying to get at the 81 here. And there's a game of cat and mouse, and the cat and mouse game is if you lose the lead, and potentially have another wrecked race car. 21 laps to go. And now the situation is now worse for Pearson, because it is an Arrowhead Racing sandwich. Fox in front, Sienna in behind. How much do you mind your P's and Q's here? Who is being shipped to the corner? Is it going to be Fox by Pearson? Is Pearson going to be shipped by Sienna? Pearson wants to make a move. There's a little bit of trepidation in this. And there you go. Pearson's going to be getting around Keisha Fox, and Sienna's going to follow through. And here comes Sienna. And I think Pearson doing the right thing here. You took laps away from Sienna. Give one back. Let her try to chase down some of the cars ahead to try to get back into the top 10 with less than 20 to go. Would not be surprised if Sienna and Pearson have some words on pit lane after this race. Sienna needs to try to catch up to Michael Norman, who is just up the road here. Brittany has worked back into the top 10, now around Robinson in 8th. Robinson in 9th, once again, has been hovering in that spot most of the race. Kira Rigney now in the 8th position. The 7th would be Sonia Walker, which I think is out of reach with the laps that we have left. But Sienna could potentially get up to Norman here with the laps we have left, coming to 15 to go. Potentially could. Pearson out in front. Davenport sitting in an island in 2nd. You have to go all the way down here to this battle for 3rd between Rogers and Oldham. Rogers just grabbed that 3rd position. But that fight's not over yet. 3 wide behind Neil LaForce. Gavin Gray trying to get around. Magale's trying to get around. Saw Sarah Christensen in 5th. Has gotten around. Roberto Crown Jr. in 6th is the last car on the lead lap. There he is. He is not yet in that hornet's nest yet. And Sienna is on a tear at the moment. They're trying to gain as much as possible here. It'd be Norman, Delahaye, and Force to get back into the top 10. And all of them are in this group right now. Norman gets moved to the racetrack by Rigney, the 80, who I think had a lot of pressure from the 96 of Sienna. And the 96 trying to try to pass the 25 for position. That is 412. And Sienna's got it without a lot of questions. Delahaye and Force just up the road here. Delahaye up to 10th. Force down to 11th position. Sienna trying to make some inroads here and try to get as much as possible. Race leaders nose to tail once again with less than coming to 9 laps to go. Getting around Ben Kreider. A little bit of contact there between Davenport and Pearson, who are going to be elbows out in these last 9 laps to try to win here in North Wilkesboro, the first race in 29 years at this famous short oval. Here comes Davenport. Rigney. Not Rigney, that's the 81 of Pearson. Pearson outside lane, got around Sullivan. And Davenport, once again, held up by lap traffic. Gets around Sullivan. Does not give Sullivan a lot of space in the exit of turn 2. As the laps dwindle away. 7 to go. A caution at this point would end the race. We're also well enough within the time limit that you could finish this race under caution and still be fine. 6 to go. Bunch of cars here in this group right now. It's going to give Davenport a really good opportunity here with 4 laps to go to close back in. That is Robinson coming down pit lane. Could not make it to the end without an extra stop. Pearson with 3 to go, trying to stay ahead of Davenport. A lot of cars coming out of pit lane. That is Crown coming out of pit lane. Norman coming down pit lane. They couldn't make it on fuel. That is so bizarre. But for Kira Rigney, not Kira Rigney again, it's Evie Pearson, 2 laps to go. Seems pretty safe. Davenport couldn't make it on fuel. Davenport's down pit lane. White flag is in the air for Pearson, and she can coast home from here. From the Truck Series to the Cup Series, the Super Sub has grabbed with both hands the opportunity. Evie Pearson wins in North Wilkesboro. It's a new Cup Series race winner. Evie Pearson breaks through for her first Cup Series victory. Outstanding for Evie Pearson. Victorious here in North Wilkesboro. Thomas Rogers ends up second. Victor Olden in third. Sierra Christensen fourth. Sonia Walker, your top 5. A wild, wild race here in North Wilkesboro. Let's reset the ticker at the top of your screen. We can go over the top. We can go over the finishing order in order. Evie Pearson at the front. Thomas Rogers in second place is how things finished. Obviously, we talked about the top five. Victor Oldham there in third. Sierra Christensen rounds out the top four. Only 4 cars on the lead lap there at the end. Sonia Walker in fifth. 126th lap for Evie Pearson. Most laps led still belongs to Kira Rigney in this race. 146 for Rigney. Megan Davenport ends up in sixth. Rigney in seventh. Aurora Crown Jr. in eighth. Carmen Sienna ends up back into the top 10 in ninth position. Delana Delahaye takes the last spot in the top 10, 2 laps down in the 79 team for Starion Motorsports. Neela Force, 11th, still her best, one of her best finishes of the season. I'll have to verify if this is her career best in the Cup Series so far. Celine Robinson in 12th. Edward Jackson in 13th. 14th for Jace Clark. And then you'll find the 15th place car, Zoe Black, 3 laps down as well. We had 33 cars finishing this race. Shea Mendoza in 16th place. Benedito Magalhaes in 17th. 18th position is where you'll find Cole Matthews. Michael Norman, the fill-in driver for Lover Motorsports in that 25 machine. 19th place. Chris Pauley finishes 20th. 4 laps down for Highside Racing. Daryl Bird in 21st. 22nd, Keisha Fox. 23rd is where you'll find the 22 car, Max Kuhn. Tasha Wright, 24th. Forsyth Autosport. Cam Anderson finishes 25th, 5 laps down. And then it's Jack Kreider in 26th, 6 laps down. He's the first car, 6 laps down in that regard. Ben Kreider, his brother, not far behind him. Also 6 laps down. Carissa Everett, a wounded race car, sees the finish in 28th, 7 laps down. Gavin Gray also 7 laps down at the end in 29th. Fred Jones, 7 laps down in 30th is how the top 30 round out here. Your final 10. Celeste Sullivan, 8 laps down, but seeing the checkered flag in 31st. Matilda Atalanta, 32nd, 9 laps down. Your last finisher, Albert Nash, in 33rd position, 9 laps down as well. Violet Hale out with an engine failure, 34th. Riley Dominguez, 35th, out with a gearbox failure. Taylor Cording out 36th with an engine failure. Accidents taking out Aiden Norton in 37th. Penn Harrington in 38th, who went upside down in this race. Caitlin Hunter in 39th position in a gearbox failure, also affecting Satomi Ray, who was out within the first 40 laps, only completed 33 laps here in North Wilkesboro. Christensen holds on to the championship lead as we head into Kansas in 7 days' time. We hope you join us for all of that. A wild, wild, wild race in North Wilkesboro, but we're glad you joined us for every bit of it. On behalf of everyone here for CBS, for AT&T's Cup Series, for Horizon Corporation, all of its partners, thank you all for joining us here in North Wilkesboro tonight. It's glad to be back at a staple of short track racing Americana. Join us again in Kansas next Sunday right here on CBS. On behalf of everyone, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you in the breadbasket next weekend.